One. And welcome back to another episode of the Clinic Podcast. So we're going to start. The big news came a couple of days ago. Personally, one of my favorite players and the starting quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles for 5 seasons, Carson Wentz, was traded to Indianapolis, reunited with Frank Reich. That offense looks pretty similar to the 2017 Eagles offense. What are your guys' reactions to this trade?
So personally, I think that
first of all, to start to mention, we have a guest on the pod today, my friend from Rowan University, Zach Williams. He knows about football, so he's our guest today. So he's going to talk football with us, and of course, my buddy Brian Davis from Randolph.
Great to be back.
Okay, so continue what you were saying about Carson Wentz, Zach.
So when it comes to the Wentz trade, I think that the Colts really won that trade. I think that the Eagles could have gotten more for Carson Wentz. I think they could have gotten a first-round pick for him. I think Carson Wentz has the talent to be a great quarterback in the NFL in the right system. And when you put Carson Wentz with guys like Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman Jr., even Trey Burton, the tight end. Oh, he's not. He's the tight end of the Bears, right? Or is he on the Colts?
Oh, he's on the Colts now.
He's on the Colts. All right, that's what I thought. Then when you put him with guys like that, I really think he has, and even T.Y. Hilton, who wasn't as good as he could have been last season, but I think with the right quarterback, T.Y. Hilton really can thrive in the NFL, as we've seen in the past with Andrew Luck.
Well, from what I understand about this trade, the offer did not move. The Colts' final offer and what the Eagles got for Wentz was the offer the whole time, because I don't think his market value was as high as what the Eagles thought. And understandably, I think they understood that because they shipped him away for what they shipped. But I mean, ultimately, you're probably getting a first-round pick. It's not going to be a high first-round pick. It's going to be in the mid-20s, but still you're getting a first-round pick out of him. So
exactly, but the Eagles traded
that's a positive.
The Eagles traded a third-round draft pick for it. They traded for a third-round draft pick and a conditional second-round pick in 2022. And I really think they could have gotten at least a second-round pick minimum for Carson Wentz. I know Carson Wentz has been playing his best the last year or two, but when, again, the Eagles have arguably one of the worst wide receiving cores in the league. I don't think Doug Peterson was the right coach for Carson Wentz.
No, definitely not.
And when you take all those into consideration, you're not going to have the right guys, the right roster for a quarterback like Wentz to succeed. It's the same thing that happened with Cam Newton and the Patriots this past year. Patriots also have arguably one of the worst, if not the worst, wide receiving core in the league. It is terrible. And even though Cam Newton is a primarily mobile quarterback, he didn't have the weapons to succeed, which is why they went 7-9, their worst record since 1998.
Which was still actually a fantastic season for the roster they had.
Exactly.
Bill Belichick pulling off that record was incredible.
I completely agree. I think with any other coach, you put a coach like, say, Doug Peterson with that Patriots roster,
they might not win a game.
I think they go 4-12 at best.
Yeah, I'll talk about the Patriots roster after, but the Eagles, I think, got fleeced in this trade. I thought they could have at least gotten a first, a second, and a third, or 2 seconds and a third, maybe. The condition, they will probably end up with a first.
From 2017 into 2019, but that's not what they're looking at. Every other team had leverage because he was awful last year, and he's on a horrible contract.
Was the
Eagles now have the largest dead cap in NFL history at $33.8 million.
It's a huge factor. Well, they're also cutting players who have kind of big contracts.
Well, yes, they cut Deshaun Jackson. They're probably cutting Alshon Jeffrey, who's barely been able to stay on the field, and Malik Jackson.
I don't think Doug Peterson was a good coach, but this really goes to show that the Eagles might have one of the worst front offices in all of the league.
This whole thing was a disaster. They fired Peterson because Wentz didn't want him, but then they didn't know that Wentz wanted to leave.
I think that they also fired Peterson because of what he did in that game against Washington. In the last week of the season, which was, I think, just an awful move putting Nate Sudfeld in for Jalen Hurts and completely tanking on purpose just so the New York Giants didn't make the playoff.
I feel like he had to have had, or upper management had to have had a say in that.
Yeah.
I feel like there's
I
no
don't think that
way
was solely Jason's
yeah,
decision.
I feel like there's
Also,
no way.
we've talked about this before, Zach, but I mean, honestly, teams like the Jets, and if that was the case, the Jets and Jaguars would also have their picks stripped. So, I mean, I don't know what you want me
I
to
don't
say,
think
just
that they
'cause it was on
tanked
live
on.
TV.
I don't think that the Jaguars and the Jets necessarily tanked on purpose. I just think they were awful. Gardner Minshew is
I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
he's
As an
my
Eagles
least
fan, the
favorite
Eagles are
quarterback in the
pretty fucking
league.
bad.
Proof of the Jets not tanking and how they lost games late in the season.
Yes, Tony Pellegrini with the contributing comment.
And personally, I think Howie Roseman is the worst GM in all of football.
Oh, it's not even close. It
He's
is
awful.
not even close. I
He's
cannot
awful.
believe
No,
they
Dave
took.
Gettleman.
I
Dave-
cannot believe they took Jalen Rager last year.
Dave Gettleman is a close second,
Justin
but Howie
Jefferson,
Roseman takes the cake.
Justin Jefferson fell that far where they could have picked him.
After drafting Arcega Whiteside over DK Metcalf,
Rager's,
and then drafting Rager over Jefferson, and then the whole thing with the Nate Sudfeld thing and Jalen Hurts. Howie Roseman is, I think, the worst GM in the NFL.
Rager's tape was so subpar compared to Justin Jefferson. The reason Burrow was able to succeed in college was because of guys like Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase constantly getting open.
It's true.
Justin Jefferson, I think, set a college football or close to a college football record with the most yards of separation per catch, per reception on average in college football history.
And
that's how good his route running was.
And a little bit of a hot take, but I think Justin Jefferson has the ability to consistently be a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL, if not top 5, as he keeps developing.
Oh, yeah.
I think with the right quarterback. I think
now it's too early to call that.
That's why I said hot take. He's only one season in the NFL, but give Justin Jefferson the right quarterback, because Kirk Cousins is certainly not the answer. Give him the right quarterback, and I think he can succeed for years to come in the NFL.
Just going back to the Carson Wentz trade, I just wanted to finish up my thoughts on that. Ultimately, Wentz was the winner in this trade. The relationship in Philly honestly wasn't salvageable. They've put really shitty teams around him, really shitty offenses around him, aging veterans on awful contracts. And yes, I recognize Wentz played awful this year, but there was a point in time where he was a good quarterback, and you don't just lose that ability. I think Reich is going to help him get back to form somewhat. Maybe not 2017. It's going to be hard to get to that, but maybe if he could get back to his 2019 season with 27 TDs, 7 interceptions, that's enough to take a Colts team to a Super Bowl. So we'll see. They have a very talented roster.
I think the Colts, if they add one more weapon,
yes,
to their offensive roster, I don't think T.Y. Hilton and Michael Pittman are enough. They have the backfield of Jonathan Taylor, who towards the tail end of last season started really to prove himself to his full potential and what he can really be in the NFL. But if they add another solid wide receiver, if they can pick up someone in free agency for Wentz to get the ball to, other than Hilton and Pittman, I think they can really make a stab at the Super Bowl in the next 2-3 years.
You know what I thought about? There's a free agent, Nelson Aguilar, who played with him in Philly. He revived his career in Oakland, in not Oakland, Las Vegas with the Raiders. And I think he was only on a 1-year deal. So if the Raiders, if the Colts can even get someone like him who knows Wentz.
Yeah,
I'd say the best weapon for them to get that's on the free agent market, if they were to get Allen Robinson, he might be
that was who I was
perfect player to play with Wentz.
Allen
Wentz is
Robinson,
the guy who loves to throw the ball up to people.
Yeah, they can make a deep run, and once they start playing together and really getting to know each other, like, look, I'm not comparing Carson Wentz to Tom Brady by any means, ever. But look at what Brady did. Stepped into a new system, had the weapons that he needed to succeed, and he took them to the Super Bowl. Again, Tom Brady is triple the quarterback that Carson Wentz will ever be. But I'm just using it as a comparison that he went to a new system, had the weapons he needed to succeed, and the Colts have the defense they need to succeed. So they add another weapon. I really think that they can make make a run at it.
I
Well,
just
the
want to
Colts
say,
have a great have a great offensive line, which is exactly what he's needed because he's had injury issues, and we need to recognize that. He has he's going to the greatest offensive line in the league.
Yep.
And then also you have to remember this situation happened with Ryan Tannehill as well. He was awful with the Dolphins towards his tail end of that relationship. And then he transitions to the Titans, and now they're winning the division or getting in the playoffs.
I want to say one more thing about the Eagles. The problem is clearly not only Doug Peterson. It was their entire coaching staff, the people around him. The fact
they
that
didn't
Wentz
even have an offensive coordinator, now they have that.
the
They have
fact
the
that
offensive
Wentz
coordinator of the Chargers last year.
didn't develop and actually regressed. Little things like his footwork not being fixed. I don't understand how that's possible in an NFL offense. They draft receivers who have the tools. Even though Jalen Reagor got drafted over Justin Jefferson, he has the tools to be a good receiver. They can't develop him into one. I think being in a run-heavy offense for Carson Wentz is going to help him a lot. It takes a lot of the pressure off him. The Eagles have to throw the ball nearly every time. Their offensive line is that bad. I really want to see what he does.
Do you guys buy that? Well, do you guys buy that the Eagles might pick a quarterback at 6?
No.
Absolutely.
That is a report
No.
that's coming out. I honestly can say I as much as I would hate that, I can't say that I'm surprised.
If they draft Trey Lance, who has minimal film after not playing his last year,
Played one game and he didn't even play in FBS.
Well,
He was an
I would be
They'd only
shocked.
take a
It would be
quarterback
Wentz
if
all over
Wilson
again.
or Fields
He's
are available.
He's actually a similar player to Wentz. His escapability from the pocket, he has a difficult time making reads, and his footwork isn't that great. It could be Wentz all over again. And I think they need a weapon. There are many wide receiver weapons available.
I've been looking at mock drafts, and a lot of them have the Eagles trading up to pick number 3 and taking Justin Fields.
I'm gonna discuss his tape later, but I'm gonna say I don't
like him as a prospect.
I'm not sold on Wilson or Fields, and I'll discuss why later.
I'm more sold on Fields than I am Wilson, though.
I'm completely sold on Zach Wilson. Completely sold.
We're gonna look at this though. I found some good games that I'm gonna show to display their great abilities and their faults.
But before we get into that, we should do our mock drafts. We should say
do the mock drafts
we should
before. Okay.
All 3 go through our first 15 picks, probably.
Well,
right.
let's do it one at a time. We each go through a pick one at a time. Hold on. So
I'll
let
go
me share
first
the
if
big
you want
board
to.
for a sec. Let me share the big board for a second for the viewers. Okay, now why isn't just letting me view it? Oh, do I not have internet open? Hold on. Oh, okay. Here we go. Yeah, so we'll just do it one by one.
All right,
Okay.
I'll go first if you guys want me to.
Yeah, hold on. Just give me.
Just do picks 1 and 2 because we all know who 1 is going to be.
I think we can all agree pick 1's going to be Trevor Lawrence.
Yep.
No doubt about it there.
There's no denying that. How are you, if you're the Jaguars, signed a new head coach in Urban Meyer who has been successful. I don't think there's any way that you draft.
Did the Jaguars get a new GM?
No.
I don't think
I'm
so.
not sure.
Yeah, I don't know if
Can you guys see the stream, by the way?
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah,
the
I can
draft
see it.
order.
The Jets pick intrigues me because I think they're trading Sam Darnold. I don't hear a lot about rumors about his name. I know he's on the trade market, but I don't know where he's going to go. But I think they are going to trade him, and I think they're
going to take Zach Wilson.
I think they're going to take Zach Wilson.
Right. So going back to the Jaguars, they did hire a new GM. He was the interim early last season, but they made it official in the middle of January. Trent Baalke is their new GM. So they have a new GM, a new head coach, and let's see. And I think Trevor Lawrence can really take DJ Chark and Laviska Shenault. And having James Robinson in the backfield too. I think if the Jaguars continue to develop and also sign someone in free agency, I
You
think
have
they
to think
can-
that would attract a free agent, Trevor Lawrence going there.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. And
Trevor
I
Lawrence
think
has
they
all the
can.
tools.
And we saw the Jaguars make the AFC Championship in 2017. And I think in the next year or two, maybe 3, as we watch Lawrence develop, I think they can get back to that spot as the team continue to grows.
Okay, so the Dolphins have a lot of options here. So I think they're going to want to reunite Devontae Smith with he didn't really play with Tua at
If
Alabama.
they do that, they're going to trade back. There's no way they pick him at 3.
Devonta Smith would be
Do
an
you think he'd go
incredibly high
past?
pick.
Why would they trade back behind the Falcons, the Bengals, the Eagles?
I really think if you're picking a wide receiver at 3, you have to go Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase has the most impressive wide receiver college tape maybe ever.
I wanted to look at that as well.
He might come into the NFL.
Instead of going through it pick by pick, why don't we each give our mock drafts? Just go one by one.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think
just to make it easier.
Okay, so I'll continue with mine. I think Dolphins are doing Devontae Smith. Falcons, this is from what I understand, I think they're going forward with Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. I don't know if they're but I think they're going to take a quarterback to learn under Matt Ryan. So I think Justin Fields is the pick here.
Okay.
And I think that would be a good pick, and I think he would develop well under Matt Ryan. Bengals, I think they have Joe Burrow just tore his ACL. They have to take a tackle here. I've watched Penei Sewell's tape. He is a phenomenal offensive tackle. Like, he can just move players around the field. There's no one getting to the quarterback when he is around. He's like a force field around.
One of the most impressive tackles we've seen in recent years.
I'm not comparing him to anyone else. I'm saying he is a very special talent.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so my team, the Philadelphia Eagles, Jamar Chase is the pick here. If I'm the GM, they haven't had a number 1 wide receiver since Jeremy Maclin, or really, okay, Alshon Jeffrey in 2017 maybe, but he didn't even have 1,000 yards that year. But Jamar Chase is the pick here. He has all the tools to be an insane NFL wide receiver. His catch ability and catch radius ability is amazing. He could just go up and grab a ball. He's explosive. He does have a good amount of speed, and he can beat you. And I think he's a pretty good route runner. But he's just going to – I think he's the next Julio Jones. They have to get Jalen Hurts a number 1 target. If they draft a quarterback here, that is a travesty and an embarrassment to the Eagles organization.
Calling him the next Julio Jones that's ballsy.
No, I think so too. He's that good.
It's bold, but he's really good. He's really.
Well,
it wasn't.
You're just gonna have to wait and see his transition to the NFL.
Definitely.
I think he's better than Devontae Smith, though.
Oh yeah.
So Lions, if the Eagles take Chase here, that's interesting what they do. I think the Lions would go Waddle then.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking about Marvin Jones, they're not bringing him back. Kenny Golladay is a free agent. They could bring him back, but it might be pricey, and he's going to have a good market of suitors.
I'm intrigued if they go quarterback here.
Wait, well, yes, I don't think Jared Goff is their answer. I think they might go quarterback as well, but I think they'd wait till next year and see if Goff is a bust for them.
Which he's going to be.
This is interesting to me because they also could draft a quarterback, but I think they're from what I understand what they're doing with their cap space, they're trying to generate a trade for Deshaun Watson, who would be explosive in that offense. They're with them. Joe Brady is the offensive coordinator. If he stays, he would be explosive in that offense with DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, CMC. Who's still, Zach, can you pull up a big board and tell me who's still like on the board?
You got Kyle Pitts, Micah Parsons, Trey Lance,
Mac Jones, I guess.
So I think
Mac Jones, Patrick Surtain, Caleb
I
Farley.
think they're going to try and trade for Deshaun Watson. So this pick may be traded to the Texans.
I can see it.
I'm not going to do trades in the mock draft because it would be too hard.
No, yeah, I'm not going to do that. But for
So
now,
assume
that's a
Panthers are
hypothetical.
picking there.
For now, I would say they pick Micah Parsons.
Luke Kuechly
Ooh.
type player to kind of ramp up the defense. But see, on the other hand, I'll go over it when I do
Their
my mock
defense
draft.
was awful. That's why the offense wasn't that bad. They were in the games.
I think he's gonna fall really far in the draft because of his off the field issues. But keep going.
Zach, did you have something you wanted to say?
I'll go over it when I do my mock draft.
Okay. Cowboys next. This is intriguing. Do we think Dak stays? Do they maybe draft a quarterback and Dak leaves?
Dak
It's-
is that
it's
they're
so
gonna
hard to
tag him.
tell.
They're gonna tag him. They're not gonna
Why
let
is
him.
it taking this long though?
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna let him go. I don't think I see a scenario in which the Cowboys let him go, unless the Cowboys front office is that bad, which it really might be. But can you be that stupid to let a talent like Dak Prescott go?
No.
He was an MVP candidate while he was playing last year.
He was on pace for like what was it? It was like
6,000.
6,500 yards, something like that, maybe closer to 7.
I still don't think the Cowboys would have been good.
He was playing out of his mind, and they have a good offense. Like they have good
If
weapons.
Dak Prescott stayed healthy, the Cowboys were winning that division. Absolutely no.
Oh,
question
definitely.
about it.
I have no doubt in my mind. Definitely.
I don't know with that defense, guys. So
No
that's why
question about it.
I think that's why the pick is the defense here. Zach, who are some of the defensive players on the board?
You got Caleb Farley, cornerback out of Virginia Tech.
Oh,
Patrick
they need a
Surtain.
quarterback. I think Caleb Farley is the pick here.
What about? I mean, you also have Surtain, the cornerback out of Alabama.
Yeah, but I don't. I mean, did you see what happened? Or who did
Yeah.
Alabama play? Someone burned him. I don't remember who it was. But someone burned him real bad. It's either one of those, Surtain or Farley. They're both
Yeah.
very good. I think they'll be good cornerbacks. I've just been hearing a lot of good things about Farley. Giants.
As of I.
Nick, you can weigh in here, but Giants, I think they might go Kyle Pitts here. They might go Kyle Pitts.
What about the edge rusher from Miami, Gregory Rousseau?
I think the Giants are satisfied with their defense right now. That was winning them that division when they were still in contention. I think it's an offensive player here, but Waddle's off the board. So
Don't forget about Rashawn Slater. He's the offensive tackle from Northwestern.
they're going to take Pitts in my opinion. So we're going to 15, right?
Yep, 12 is the 49ers.
49ers, they're not giving a lot of information about whether they want to keep for Garoppolo, but from what I've heard in coaching and front office, I don't, from players, it seems like they want him, but I don't know if the front office is convinced by him.
I think Garoppolo is definitely a candidate to be the New England quarterback in 2021.
Yeah, I think they might trade him, and I think the pick here would be I think they're going to pick either Lance or Mac Jones here.
I think taking Mac Jones at 12 is kind of
But
high.
yeah, I think Mac Jones at 12 would be a little high. I think they'd want Lance because I think he's a little bit more mobile.
Yep.
And Shanahan wants to do creative things with that offense. 13, it's interesting with the Chargers here. I could see them going a lot of different ways with this pick. Who are some of the other defensive players on the board?
You still have Rousseau, the edge rusher out of Miami. You got J.C. Horn, cornerback from South Carolina. Kwity Paye, edge rusher from Michigan. Those are the most notable ones.
See that they don't need a lot of. They have T.J. Watt. Do they need a lot of edge rushers?
T.J. Watt. We're talking about the Chargers.
No, not T.J. Watt.
Joey Bosa.
Joey Bosa. I'm sorry. I always mix the two up. I don't know. I think maybe do they go with tackle here?
I think someone to protect Herbert. I think they could go with Rashawn Slater again, the tackle out of Northwestern.
Okay,
Herbert has been a proven talent.
They got to keep him healthy.
We got to keep him healthy. Got to keep him on the field, and I think O tackle is definitely the pick.
Okay, Vikings. I don't think they need another playmaker. I think they're a horrible defensive team, which has lost them a lot of games. I think they go, who was the defensive tackle from Michigan?
The defensive
Or
tackle.
they either need a defensive tackle or a defensive end.
You have the edge rusher from Michigan, Kwity Paye, or you also have Rousseau is still on the board.
I think
Or Christian Barmore from Alabama.
I think
Tackle.
I think they're going to pick Rousseau. And then finally, since we're doing a 15 pick mock, Patriots, they got to get another playmaker, but there's not really a lot of playmakers on the board here. Well, who else is?
I think that Najee Harris is definitely a potential pick there.
That would be really high to go a running back at.
Najee Harris, I think, is something else.
I agree with you, actually.
Or I could see them taking, where to go? I just saw his name. Kadarius Toney, the wide receiver out of Florida.
Isn't he projected a second round pick though?
No, his draft stock's been
His
flying
draft
up.
stock has just been rising.
But I will say this, because I'm a Florida fan. I watched all of their games. He is a long-term prospect. He played running back essentially his first 2 years, or his first 3 years. Last year, he was almost an 1,000-yard receiver. He has issues with route running. He slips on a lot of his routes.
When it comes to the Patriots, they don't take N'Keal Harry was their first wide receiver drafted in the first round since Troy Brown. And N'Keal Harry is god-awful. He is the worst.
Oh, yeah, he's pathetic.
But I think when Edelman's healthy and Jacoby Myers proved himself to be he's a decent wide receiver, and I think he can be good with the right quarterback. Cam is not the answer.
Well, do the Patriots go quarterback here? Do they take Mac Jones?
I think they really could take Mac Jones here.
That'd be a solid pick. He's
I'm
very
gonna-
similar to Brady coming out of college.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
I'm going to keep that as my pick. I know you guys got to get going at a certain time, or Zach, you have to get going by 7. So,
Seven. I'm good till 7:30, 7:45.
all right. But just run down the picks quickly. So I guess
Yep.
we can get to some film.
Yep. I'm gonna go obviously Trevor Lawrence at 1. I'm gonna go Justin Fields at 2.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Jamar Chase at 3. I'm gonna go Zach Wilson at 4. I'm gonna go Sewell at 5. Then I'm gonna put Kyle Pitts at 6 to the Eagles.
I wouldn't mind that pick either.
Kyle Pitts at 6 to the Eagles.
He's going to be a receiver in the NFL.
Then when it comes to the Lions, I think they take Caleb Farley to pair along nicely with Jeff Okudah and have a really
I don't think they'd want to take cornerbacks 2 years that in a row that high.
Their defense is so bad. They need to.
I think they do
need
it.
pass coverage. They have to.
Or I could see them going Micah Parsons, the linebacker from Penn State.
I could see them going receiver too, but they should go defense.
8,
Okay.
I'm going with Trey Lance to the Panthers. Bridgewater wasn't awful, but he's not the answer. At 10, I'm going Surtain, the cornerback out of Alabama.
You missed the Broncos at 9.
Oh, did I? I'm sorry. Broncos at 9. I'm going to have them taking Devonta Smith. You know what? Flip it. I'm going to have the Broncos taking Surtain at 9. The Cowboys taking Devonta Smith at 10.
Really?
Ooh, really?
Wow.
Cowboys taking Devonta Smith
Dude,
at 10.
so are they getting rid of one of Gallup, Cooper, or
Oh, they're getting rid of Gallup. They're not
Yeah,
going to have the
I
money.
think Gallup's gone. I
he's
think they're
going
going to pair.
to get a hefty contract too.
Yeah.
I think they're going to trade him, pair Lamb with Smith and Cooper, Dak and Zeke.
That'll be one of the best.
It's going to be one of the best offenses in the league.
Yeah.
I don't think they're doing that. I think their defense is horrendous and they need to draft defense.
Or
Hopefully.
I could see them going Gregory Rousseau, the edge rusher from Miami.
All right.
Either of those.
I could see them going Christian
Rousseau is
Barmore,
probably the
too.
smarter pick.
Yeah.
So then do you have the Giants taking Waddle?
I have the Giants taking Jalen Waddle because Darius Slayton is not the answer.
Good number 2. Nick says he is a good number 2.
He's a good number 2, but right now he's their number one. He's not a number one receiver.
That's true. 49ers.
49ers, I'm going to have them taking JC Horn, the cornerback.
That's a good pick because Richard Sherman is
South
most
Carolina.
definitely leaving this offseason. And I've seen his draft stock rise. I haven't really watched a lot of tape on him, but his draft stock has risen. Who do you have the
13,
Chargers
the
taking?
Chargers, I have them taking Rashawn Slater, the offensive tackle. Got to protect Herbert. You got Austin Eckler out there. You got Josh Kelly, who wasn't bad. You got Keenan Allen. Hunter Henry's a free agent, might sign with the Chargers. Who knows? He said he wants a good quarterback, but like did you see what Justin Herbert did last season? That comment made no sense to me. 14, I have Devonta Smith.
Wait, you
14.
had Smith earlier. At
Who
the
did I have?
Cowboys. You had Smith at the Cowboys.
Oh no, I
Wanna
switched
change
my
that?
pick, Gregory Rousseau, to
Oh.
the Cowboys.
You have Devontae
So I have
Smith
Devonta-
falling to the Heisman winner falling 14.
Heisman winner falling 14 to the Vikings.
I
Pair
might
him,
agree with him.
Jefferson, Thielen, and Devonta Smith get a quarter in the next year or
Fitness
two.
not
Get a
playing
good
slot
quarterback.
receiver. Who's playing slot receiver out of those three?
Justin
Wait,
Jefferson.
Jefferson a slot? Oh,
Jefferson plays in the
Jefferson's a
slot.
slot.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And then at 15, my team, the New England Patriots, I think they're going to take Mac Jones.
I,
think
I
they're
don't,
gonna
I
take
don't,
Mac
I don't think that'd be an awful pick.
No, I don't think so either. But I really want
I
to see what
see-
Jones does without
I
receivers
see
always
a
open.
lot of Tom Brady and Mac Jones.
My problem is I can't gauge how good he is because his receivers were so open last year. All right.
So we're gonna switch to some film review. So I have I'm gonna pull up two games. I'm gonna do some film review for Zach Wilson and Justin Fields. So I'm gonna pull up two games. This is I'm gonna pull up Justin Fields
and Justin Fields. You have them both going in
Oh,
the top
I don't know who's,
8, we said.
I don't know.
close
ESPN just does that.
How fungible would you say is the difference between who goes second
How do
and who
I
goes
fix
third
that?
amongst the quarterbacks?
You got to just close the tab.
Turn your
Okay, bottom line, I'm just gonna choose this game against Indiana. He threw for 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. It shows some good plays and some bad plays. And then Zach Wilson, I'm gonna show his game against Coastal Carolina because it shows he's scored 1 touchdown in that game, 1 interception as well. He is really, there's also a game against Houston that's really good tape, but this Coastal Carolina game shows some of his faults as well. So I want to highlight the player as a
It's also
whole.
the best team he played last year.
Yes.
just a
exactly.
quick update, little side note here. The Celtics lost in overtime to the Pelicans.
They did. That's
The only chocolate drop
unfortunate.
in most of my
All right.
classes.
So can you guys see the screen, the YouTube right
Yeah.
here?
Yep, I can see it.
All right.
College football's most efficient
Let-
quarterbacks and
wait, can I
brightest
turn off? Let me turn
stars
off the YouTube
on display
volume.
tonight.
Hold on.
And Zach Wilson has really come on the scene
Uh,
the last 9 weeks.
Go
hold
to the
on.
little volume thing
On the
by the
left.
pause
Talk about
button.
it. Efficiency.
Yes, my bad. Okay, that's better. All right, so Zach Wilson, Coastal Carolina was the best team he played last season. So let's start off with this. This is a nice throw to the outside. Moves it along the chains. He steps up in the pocket. He's got a pretty strong arm. He does have a strong arm.
That's his best thing. He has an okay pocket presence. My problem is if you watch his eyes, he has an inability to move cornerbacks.
I think,
and
and he has an accuracy problem as well. That's been my.
I
task with him.
compare Zach Wilson. I see a lot of Josh Allen in Zach Wilson.
Yeah. That's
I
a
can see
perfect
that.
comparison.
Here's
I
another.
see a lot of Josh Allen. Him. I think that is the perfect comparison.
Look at this play. He just throws it. Look at this play again. He just throws it right over his head.
It's the same concept too. It's almost
Yeah.
the same play.
Exactly. And Josh Allen's the same way. He's got the strong arm. He's got the physicality, but his accuracy isn't great. It's good, but it's not great.
But if
It's
you
not
got to,
consistent.
he has a strong arm, which is the plus side to him. Is this guy's had one of the best arms that some experts have seen. The report that came out about they're going to take Wilson over the people of Wilson over Lawrence. Wilson or over Lawrence is ridiculous. But
Wilson over Lawrence is absolutely absurd.
But
Lawrence
look-
is the best draft prospect since Andrew Luck.
Oh yeah.
but his pocket presence. Sometimes he takes some sacks. Well, he
That's,
kind of
that,
would-
I mean,
every
he was
quarterback
just
takes a
rushed
sack,
right
but-
away.
he was rushed.
That
right
was
away.
awful. He almost just threw it right to that DB for no reason.
But I see a lot of the problems that I saw with Carson Wentz with Wilson, but he does have major upside.
He's a developmental prospect. You have to develop this guy.
But I think he's going to get a shot fairly early on.
You can get away in college with sticking to one guy, and proof of that is Justin Fields, who we'll watch next, and Zach Wilson. But in the NFL, the best quarterbacks, Brady, Rodgers, Wilson, Mahomes, they move cornerbacks and safeties with their eyes to get people open.
And
Like,
just
look
to
at this
clarify
throw
for
right
the
here.
video, just to clarify for the viewers, when he was talking about the best quarterbacks in the NFL, when he said Wilson, we're talking about Russell Wilson,
Yes.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
not Zach Wilson.
Hopefully not Zach Wilson.
What?
He needs to go to the right team. The Bills have
I mean-
great they develop players constantly. He's in the perfect system. This guy's going to be a system player.
You think?
Yeah, he needs to be in the right system.
Yeah, I think so.
I feel if he gets drafted to the Jets, it's going to be Darnold all over again.
I can see that, and I think Zach
But
Wilson.
look at his run ability too. This is impressive.
Yeah, I think Zach Wilson goes to the Falcons. Like I said, I think Fields goes 2, Wilson goes 4 to the Falcons, and is Matt Ryan's predecessor.
Well, I think Fields should go too. Well, that's the last throw I'll put on for that. But
He needs a year behind someone at least, a very minimum.
That's what I'm saying. And what are you gonna what are you gonna do? Put Wilson behind Darnold?
I'm going to show some Justin Fields tape. What I have to say about Justin Fields is I think he should be the second quarterback taken, but he has a problem. And Brian also pointed this out. He has a problem where he only looks at his first read, and it's a big issue because that sometimes it's going to work out for you if they're open, but
Here, put it
if
in
they're
full
not,
screen.
you're getting intercepted by a linebacker.
Josh, put it in full screen.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if he's like only looking at his first read and he's going up against linebackers like TJ Watt, Von Miller, Bobby Wagner, guys like that.
But this dude's got a strong arm. Look at that throw. It's a perfect spiral down the middle.
He's also in Ohio State's college system is the scheme they run is much better than Clemson's for Lawrence. This is like a very well coached team. He only gets off his first read. He misses a lot of open people. I think it's really scary to watch.
There's a bad interception later that we'll see.
How fixed he is on his reads.
Look, you can
You see how
his
long
eyes.
he's waiting for that guy to get open? I mean, he throws a touchdown because he has the best offensive line in college football besides
That was an
Alabama.
isolated route, but his eyes are only looking at him.
Yeah.
But his arm talent is impressive.
He has an ability to improvise, but he does it too much sometimes as well.
Like, look at that.
That is an
was just
okay.
intercepted.
Rewind it, and like.
Hold on. Do you want
You
me to
see,
just put it in slow motion? or-
Do you see what I mean by he's not moving the safeties with his eyes? If he looks towards the
Hold
right
on, I'm gonna
side,
put that in slow motion.
if he looks towards the right side the whole play, like he's acting like he's going to throw to that out route on the outside to the right, he can move the cornerbacks and safeties around to maybe get that throw off to either one of those two guys.
It was just it was a bad read. He's so fixed on the one guy. When he's in the huddle, he's thinking to himself, I'm not going to analyze the whole field. I'm going to isolate this one guy and I'm going to throw to him. It's not, you have to like, you can't be a succeeding quarterback in the NFL and look at it that way.
He also took an awful sack there.
Just get he doesn't get
He's
rid of
so
the ball.
fixated on the one read coming out of the huddle.
He is pretty mobile.
He leaves the pocket too early sometimes too, though.
Like, look, he doesn't move his head.
Yeah,
He's
that's
so
a bad-
fixated.
that's a
No,
bad
he had a guy wide open over the middle.
He didn't move his head at all. He didn't even look at the guy over the middle.
Where the
This is a different play. He's
Oh,
holding
yeah.
on to the ball forever. Okay, he got rid of it.
oh wait, this play gets picks off. He shouldn't have. Why'd he try to throw it there?
He had one of those plays against Clemson, which he played lights out in besides the interception, where he just threw it into the end zone in triple coverage for no reason. Sometimes he, like Wentz, he doesn't give up on a play to his detriment.
Yes. So, yeah, I mean, I think there's one more touchdown that's a good look at him, but he takes a bad sack there again.
That's just
My
not
plus on
good
him
pocket awareness.
my plus on him is that he is a very strong arm.
That is what he can do. He gets out of the sack. He rushes to the outside. Of course, there's a holding call.
They get down the field here somewhere. That was just knocked down.
No, that was unlucky. But that is a problem. He's short.
How tall is he? Isn't he 6'1"?
I don't think so. It doesn't matter. 6'1" is also pretty short for
That
NFL
there was a
QB.
great play.
You get like people like Russell Wilson get their passes batted down a lot because you literally can't see over the defensive lineman.
Did you guys want to move on to Pitts?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just pull up. Brian, is there a good tape for him?
The Alabama game.
Versus Alabama. Word. So Kyle Pitts.
He has the best tape of any player in the draft.
Yeah.
To do this against this defense while getting double teamed the whole time is amazing.
Oh, they even outlined him in red. Like his route running from the very start of the route, he loses him.
His
Right
NFL
there.
comparison is Darren Waller.
I think he's
I think he's
better.
better.
Yeah.
Look at
But I'm
this,
saying
like-
if you had
oh.
to compare, he's not because Kyle Pitts isn't a true tight end.
He's more of a receiver.
He's a wide receiver type tight end like Waller is. You got guys like Kelsey and Kittle, Gronk. Those guys are true tight ends because they can also block. Pitts
He can block too.
He
but
can
not-
block, but
not
not
like
as well
that.
as guys like Kelsey, Gronkowski, and Kittle.
No, not like them. It's just his route running, and that's on a cornerback on the outside.
Yeah, he's fast.
His best catch in this game is his last one in the fourth quarter for a touchdown over like 3 guys. He has the best hands in the draft. He doesn't drop passes.
Did he catch that one? I couldn't see.
No, it was a bad throw.
This is not a great tape. It's not showing his plays.
It's just showing what he does.
Like he had a good block up in front.
Just skip to the fourth quarter. Just show the last catch because that's the most impressive out of all of them. It really shows you how
Oh,
dominant
hold on.
he
Let's
is.
see this play. Do you see that little stutter step?
To hold on to that ball too after getting drilled.
Yeah, that was a great throw.
It's also a great catch,
Yeah.
knowing you're going to get killed. They call that pass interference. If this is going to be a
Oh
guy
my
in the
God.
NFL, you cannot leave one-on-one because he's too tall for cornerbacks and too fast for linebackers.
If the Eagles don't draft Chase, this is who I'm intrigued in, because if they pair him with Dallas Goedert, even if you double team Pitts, now you can't really double team him because he can go up and make
The
plays.
thing is you can line him up out wide too, is the best part about it. He's not conformed to coming off the slot, coming off the edge and going and running a route.
Yeah. I think Pitts is for sure a top 10 pick.
I'd pick him over Devontae Smith.
We have time for one more tape. Do you guys want to do?
No, show this last one that he catches.
Oh, okay.
It's his best catch all year. It should come up in a sec. He just throws it to him in the end zone.
Oh my God. Absolutely.
And that's over like 3 NFL prospects. All 3 of those dudes are going to be drafted this year.
Yeah, one of those was Surtain, who's also a top 15 pick.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Besides Lawrence, he might be the most talented player in the draft.
Lawrence is one of the most talented players, one of the most talented draft prospects ever.
It's the fact that Lawrence can run too. He is so fast for how tall he is.
Did you guys want to watch one more player's tape, or did you guys want to go into free agency?
I think we should go into free agency.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me pull
I
up.
have a free agent tracker up on my other computer. You got guys like, just to lay it out for the viewers, Dak Prescott, AJ Green, JJ Watt, Shaq Barrett, Patrick Peterson, Joe Tooney, Allen Robinson, Chris Godwin, Kenny Galladay, Jadeveon Clowney, T.Y. Hilton, AJ Bouye, Justin Simmons, Olivier Vernon, Hunter
It's a
Henry.
stack.
Well,
Lamarcus
yeah,
David.
it's a
This
stacked
is
free
this is a
agent.
stacked free.
Why don't we
agent.
look at some of our predictions by
By position.
position? Yes. So
All right.
obviously, the biggest name here, there's not a lot of big names. I'm going to start with quarterback first. Dak, we think just gets franchise tagged by the Cowboys.
Yes.
If he doesn't-
Most
if
of
he
these
doesn't-
names are backup quarterbacks. There's a rumor going around that Cam Newton goes to Washington. How feasible is that rumor?
Very.
I think that is a really good take because,
Rivera?
well, yeah, he could be paired up with his old head coach. And they did just sign Taylor Heineke to a 2-year deal. I think he's just going to be the backup. And as much as I love Alex Smith for the comeback he made in the NFL, for having what happened to him and coming back and being able to play football again is just incredible. But I also, again, don't think he's the answer. Put Cam with a guy such as Terry McLaurin and Antonio Gibson. I think he can succeed. I just don't think the New England Patriots were right for him.
I don't think his arm is anything like it used to be.
His arm is nothing short of average.
It's not good. And I think
But he had no one to throw to on the Patriots, and the Patriots offense last year was just as good, like statistically, as the Patriots offense the year before. So
True.
take with that what you will. He didn't have
But
anyone
then
to
again,
throw to.
Tom Brady, Cam Newton, it's a big difference.
It is, but their offense was similar. They had the most opt-outs in the league. A lot of them were on defense. They lost most of their defense.
Dante Hightower, our best linebacker, Patrick Chung, a top safety, and several other guys.
Brady's obviously the greatest quarterback of all time, probably. No, I wouldn't say the most talented, but the greatest.
Not probably, definitely.
He's the greatest of all time. But that last year, as a Patriots fan, you could agree it was the defense that was carrying them. But his last year
the
there.
Patriots defense has been incredible the last 3 seasons. And I think that's a big part of the reason why we went 7-9 and not worse, because of our defense. Our offense was terrible. But then you have guys, and even Stephon Gilmore, who only had 1 interception. He won Defensive Player of the Year in 2019 and basically said, all right, see ya, I'm out of here. Had 1 interception in 2020. Did not have a great year. But J.C. Jackson is really who stepped up. Undrafted free agent. I think he is going to be – people are calling him overrated, and I do see that. He is being a little bit overhyped, but I do think he is a good cornerback, especially for being undrafted. 9 interceptions, 1 behind Xavier Howard, who's a top 3 cornerback in the league, to me is incredibly impressive.
Yeah, he'll be good. He's going to be the new cornerstone of their defense.
the quarterback market, aside from the trade market, is not that impressive. I think one of these guys just becomes a backup for the Eagles, and that's it.
I could see Brissett signing in New England or Philadelphia. I could see Dalton in Philadelphia, or even Tyrod Taylor, all his backups.
Yeah, we'll see.
The next one is wide receivers.
Oh,
That's-
actually,
this
before we go
is
into
where
wide
we get into
receivers,
it.
do you guys think Deshaun Watson is going to Carolina? Where do you think Deshaun Watson is going, and what is going to be the trade value for Deshaun Watson?
He's staying in Houston this year. Minimum 3 first-round picks.
I agree with the first round picks. And I also agree that I think he is going to stay in Houston because they don't want to get rid of him. Deshaun Watson is an incredible talent. We've all seen him play. He's so good. And I think it's 3 first-round picks and a 3rd round pick minimum for Deshaun Watson. I think if he goes anywhere, it's Carolina.
He's going to – I'm not saying he's going to play for Houston this year, but I think he's going to be in Houston this year.
If he goes anywhere, it's the Panthers.
Okay.
Yeah.
or the Jets.
Panthers or the Jets. I think the Jets can make a really good offer for him, but my problem is I don't think you can let those 3 picks go with how short the rest of their roster is.
Yeah, I agree
Yeah,
with that. I
I
think some
agree
of the
with that.
best fits
The
for him
Panthers
would
can
be
do it.
them or the Broncos. The Broncos have a talented offense.
But the Panthers,
Cortland
man,
Sutton and Jerry Judy is an incredible wide receiver duo. I really like the way Judy played this past year, and Cortland Sutton, when he's not hurt, is
They also have Tim Patrick, who's a
arguably
very good player as well. Noah
no
Fant as
offense
well.
is good.
Noah Fant.
Now they have Melvin Gordon, who had a great year.
Yep. Noah Fant drops more passes than I'd like to see him to. But I think if he can keep his hands on the ball and make the catches that he needs to make, I think he can be a top 5 tight end in the league in 2021, along with Kelsey, Kittle, Gronk, and Hawkinson, and Waller. And I forgot about Mark Andrews. All right, maybe not top 5, but top 7. Let's go
Also,
top 7.
Where the 2 most interesting free agents on the market right now are Allen Robinson and Chris Godwin.
Yes.
Because I don't think Tampa Bay has the cap to re-sign.
I don't think Allen Robinson is going back to
Evans.
the Chicago Bears. I
Well,
think.
hold on, let me talk about Godwin for a second.
Okay. go ahead.
Mike Evans is taking a pay cut this upcoming year because he wants to keep that team together, and I think other players are as well taking a pay cut to be able to keep this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team together. I think Chris Godwin stays in Tampa Bay. And I really can't see him anywhere else.
I could agree with that. I mean, if Mike Evans is taking a pay cut, that's certainly something to look at. Are they going to keep Antonio Brown, or is Antonio Brown?
Yeah.
I think Antonio Brown goes.
Really?
I think, yeah, 100%. I think he gets traded. I think Godwin stays. I don't think both of the Lions receivers go. I think one stays.
So let's go pick player by player who we
Okay.
think where is going to go. So
Right.
Allen Robinson, there's going to be a lot of suitors for him.
I think the
they may-
49ers might swoop in and get him.
I've
That's
thought
the
about the
dark horse.
49ers. I think maybe wherever Deshaun Watson goes. I've thought maybe the Jets.
No, he's been in such a terrible offensive scheme for so long.
I know,
I
but
don't know
if they get Watson, or if they get a good quarterback.
I think the place I'd like to see him the most is Washington.
Agreed.
Ooh, you know where Allen Robinson might as well go earlier we talked about this, but he might go to the Colts as well.
Oh, yeah.
He would be a great
Either the Colts, for him, nice. For him, the best thing that he could do is go to either the Colts or the Redskins.
Yes. So, all right. So we discussed Godwin. I agree.
I'm assuming Juju just stays in Pittsburgh.
You think he stays?
I highly doubt Pittsburgh lets him walk. He was underrated last year. He was one of the best receivers out of the slot in the NFL.
No, he was good. I'm not denying that. I just think I probably embarrassed the team a little bit.
They need him. Well, that's their fucking problem. It wasn't his fault that they were losing games. It's mainly the fact that the offensive play calling was awful. The loss of Bud Dupree was bigger than I thought it would be. That was a game changer for the team in defense. They need to re-sign Schuster and Dupree. And then, if they can, try to get J.J. Watt.
Yep.
If the Steelers get J.J. Watt and re-sign Dupree, it's one of the best defensive lines ever.
If they get who? What if do you think J.J. Watt goes there?
If they re-sign Dupree and get Watt, they'd have Tuitt, Hayward, both Watts, Dupree. I don't know how you defend that.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get a line good enough to guard that?
All right, boys, just to let you know, I got to go in about 10 minutes.
Okay. So, yeah, we'll try and finish this free agency section up. So, Kenny Golladay, I don't know if he stays in Detroit. because they're not going anywhere. They're not winning. What is he getting besides money?
I think the Patriots are a serious suitor for Kenny
I think
Galladay.
both Kenny Galladay and Marvin Jones leave, and I do like the Patriots. That's an interesting choice for him.
The
I
Patriots
think
are
Kenny
number
Galladay
3
goes
in cap
to the.
space.
I think Kenny Galladay goes to the Giants. They love Detroit receivers. Golden Tate.
Yep. I could
I
see
think he
that.
goes there.
I could also see I think Fuller stays in Houston, but I can see Marvin Jones on New England as a number 2 receiver behind Edelman, and Myers being the number 3. I can definitely see him there, and I think the Patriots should really make a run.
How old is
for
Marvin Jones? The Eagles don't
he's
have a lot of.
I think he's like
cap space.
29.
They can't afford him. Yeah, Will Fuller. I feel like
30.
I don't think he's going to stay on the Texans. I think he's going to go to another team that's like in the midst of like rebuilding, but not the Texans because they're very dysfunctional. I think he goes like somewhere like the
Is he
Jets.
suspended for the first like 6 games?
He's suspended for a bit. I don't know if this season really matters to him. I think he signs a shorter contract with like the Jets or someone. Jones, I don't think the Eagles can afford him, but I think he'd be a good fit there.
The Eagles can't afford anyone. Not with that $34 million dead cap.
It's interesting. How much cap does Cincinnati have? Because maybe you want to get some weapons for Burrow. I don't think AJ Green stays. I think he's going to go to a contender.
No, he's gone.
I mean, he's up in age too. I don't think he's going to have big value.
The Cincinnati Bengals are 5th in cap space. They have about $45 million.
They're gonna have a difficult time. It is so hard to get people to go to Cincinnati.
I'm trying to think
historically, they just don't sign free agents at a high clip.
I'm just trying to think of good. You know who? One of these receivers might go to Baltimore. Allen Robinson.
Yeah. Baltimore needs to give one receiver big.
They need a number 1 for Lamar.
I was gonna have Baltimore taking Tony in the draft later. I think he's a guy that they'll look at.
So maybe AJ Green goes to Baltimore. T.Y. Hilton, I think he's going to stay with the Colts and go for a championship run. Watkins, I think, stays with the Chiefs. If not, I'd like to see the Eagles get Watkins. I think they can afford him. And
How
then
much cap space do the Eagles have?
they don't have a lot, but I think they can afford. They're trying to free it up by releasing players, and players are being flexible with contracts. And I think Larry Fitzgerald stays with the Cardinals.
Yep.
Running backs, the class is very good this year for running backs. For free agency, Aaron Jones, I don't see him leaving the Packers.
Oh, he's definitely gone. They don't have the
Think
money
so?
to re-sign him. Positive. They're not
Cool.
going to re-sign him.
Why? Really? Their cap space is bad?
Yeah.
Oh, then
Okay.
The
then
Green
where
Bay
did he go?
Packers has negative $4.5 million in cap space.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
and the Eagles have negative 43 million. I don't think they're signing anyone.
Eagles have negative 37.5 million.
Yeah,
and the
that's why it's
Saints have-
important for Howie Roseman not to F this draft up. So, all right, so where do you think these running backs are going? Aaron Jones, where is he?
Steelers.
Yep.
That's a good pick. If they don't get, what if they get Najee Harris?
I don't think they're going to draft Najee Harris. I think I don't think he's going to fall that far.
I like the Steelers pick. Are they going to offer him a good amount of money? I know they don't have a running back.
They're gonna offer him. The Steelers are gonna come out of the bad cap zone because they're gonna restructure Ben's contract. And if he doesn't want to,
negative 14.2 million right now.
then that's with his $40 million contract. I think they bring that down to at least 20.
Probably, I can see. Kenyon Drake. I think he ends up on a team like let's see. I think he could end up on a team like the Dolphins, back on the Dolphins.
I don't think he goes back to the Dolphins.
I see him going to a team like the Jets or something like that.
I know he wants to go
I
with
can
the
see him in
Cardinals. You don't think he
Houston.
stays with the Cardinals?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Houston. He could go there.
I can see him in Houston because
A team is gonna pay him.
Garbage.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that the Seahawks need to re-sign Chris Carson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were bad when he was out.
I can't believe it says top 3 running backs that'll be on the market next year, and Chris Carson's below Kenyon Drake.
Yeah. I don't get that. This is pro football and Football Network. They're okay.
He needs to re-sign in Seattle. They need him.
Lindsey, he's not re-signing with Denver. Gordon took his spot.
I think he's going to re-sign with a low-tier rebuilding team as well.
I think Lindsey could end up in New York with the Giants.
I think with the Jets. Why is he
Either
going to
or.
sign with the Giants? Saquon's coming back. And
Oh, right.
and what's his name? Wayne Gallman was good last week.
Right.
I think he might sign somewhere like Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit's a good one. Leonard
Yeah,
Fournette, where did he
Smith,
go?
Leonard Fournette's back on the Bucs.
Yep.
No way they let him leave.
Le'Veon?
Chiefs.
I mean, I'm a Steelers fan, and I want the Steelers to actually sign him. I think there's no way he shouldn't retire as Steeler, but we'll see if he wants to go back there.
I don't think he's getting money from a contender.
He wants to win a ring. That's all he wants.
But I don't think he's getting a lot of money from a contender. It's probably
I don't think the Chiefs re-signed him. They barely used him.
yeah. I don't think he had a snap in the Super Bowl.
No, he didn't.
I think those bottom 4 guys under Le'Veon Bell all stay where they are.
Yeah, Todd Gurley had a solid season. It wasn't what I thought it would be, but it was solid. He has injury problems. He's still a good running back.
Yep.
Okay, so that's it for the running backs. Tight ends, it's not like I don't think this is really important. I think Hunter Henry probably stays with the Chargers.
Yeah, I think all
of these guys
might
stay.
where they are. I could see maybe Gerald Everett signing with the Patriots because they need a tight end bad. But
I'd be shocked if the Titans let Johnny Smith hit the market.
yep.
We'll do defensive players because that's intriguing. I don't think offensive tackles is the
All right.
market.
Yeah, I gotta go after we do this.
All right. Von Miller, I don't think he stays with the Broncos. I think he goes to the team.
I think he's gonna retire Bronco. I think
he stays with the Broncos.
That's
Leonard
fair.
Williams, I think, stays with the Giants.
definitely.
Ingram,
No.
I think most of these guys really, I think, stay where they are.
I think
except
Ingram
for
might
Watt.
be gone. I think Ingram might be gone.
I don't think so. They kind of they need him.
Chargers are going in the right direction.
They do need him, but he's one of the interesting ones. I'm not sold on him coming back. I think he might, but he's 31. I think he's gonna want to win
I think
now.
the Eagles should take a stab at Jadeveon Clowney or Bud Dupree.
Maybe on Clowney.
maybe,
I don't think
but-
he's gonna command that big of a market. I think the Steelers might tag Bud Dupree.
Possible.
Matt Judon, I
Even
think
the
he stays
Eagles
with the
looking at
Ravens.
a guy like Yannick Ngakoue.
Barrett's going to
Ngakoue.
stay with Tampa Bay.
Yep.
No, Clowney we can afford. Ngakoue we can't afford.
Whoa! I mean, Ngakoue isn't that much different from Clowney. They're gonna command about the same amount of money.
I mean, Clowney had 2 sacks last year. Or
Ngakoue was also awful last year.
Yeah, Ngakoue didn't play that well.
Simmons is interesting. He's a very good safety.
Yeah. Wait, Justin Simmons is a free agent?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think he stays with Denver.
Me too.
He's one of their best defensive players at the moment.
Him and Von Miller, I think, both stay in Denver.
AJ Bouye is one of the most intriguing. I thought he was going to be good on Denver. I don't know what happened. Why all of a sudden he was one of the worst cornerbacks in the NFL last year, and they released him.
I think Boye ends up with a team like Seattle.
Yeah. The Seattle needs to bolster their defense. I think they're going to focus heavy
Is
on
Peterson going to retire
Yeah.
a Cardinal?
Yes.
that. Yeah, I'd say they bring him
100%.
back.
I think JJ Watt goes to the Steelers, and then Ngakoue, who do we think he goes to?
I think JJ Watt ends up on the Browns.
The Browns, they've been linked to him. He would be good there.
It's either the Browns, the Steelers, or the Chargers, I think.
Garrett and Watt would be scary.
If Watt can stay healthy, that's the biggest
That's
thing.
true.
He's more of a run stopper now, too. Less of a pass rusher.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I think it's going to be weird how it shakes out. Seattle's a defense away from a Super Bowl run. I think the Cardinals are in the playoffs next year, so those are the 2 teams I'm most intrigued to see improve their defense.
Well, this has been another episode of the Clinic Podcast with our guest, Zach Williams. This has been fun. Thank you for coming on, Zach.
Thank you
We'll
for having
hopefully
me
have you
on.
again. But yeah, see you guys.
So yeah.
All right. So, yeah.